Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today we're going to be just doing a little chit-chat video where I kind of talk about a little bit more about my mental illness and the kind of background of that, and I'm also going to discuss the OCD that I have and actually two of my alters have and suffer from. So, let's begin. Obsessive compulsive disorder, formerly considered a type of anxiety disorder, is now regarded as a unique condition. It is a potentially disabling illness that traps people in endless cycles of repetitive thoughts and or behaviors. People with OCD are plagued by reoccurring distressing thoughts, fears, images, obsessions they cannot control. The anxiety produced by these thoughts can be urgent, and a need to perform certain rituals or routines can become compulsive. The compulsive rituals are performed in the attempt to prevent the obsessive thought. The compulsive rituals are performed in an attempt to prevent the obsessive thought or make it go away. Although the rituals may be temporary, they do relieve anxiety. The person must perform the ritual again when the obsessive thought returns. This OCD cycle can progress to the point of taking an hour in a person's day and significantly interfere with a normal activity. People with OCD may be aware that their obsession compulsive is senseless or unrealistic, but they can't stop them. That is the actual definition. Now let's talk about first. I'm going to get my thoughts together because Elizabeth really wants to talk, and she's the one who really suffers from OCD worse than anybody else in our system. Okay. My OCD, as the host, Acacia, my OCD is obsessive thoughts. I have unfortunately, due to the trauma that I suffered as a child, I have obsessive thoughts revolving around food and words that have been spoken to me in the past. My rituals are much less intense than Elizabeth's, to be sure, but nonetheless, they are there. I'm so OCD is actually very offensive to me whenever I hear someone say it, because I feel so much like it's undermining something that actually is very severe and very traumatizing and extremely tiring. I will admit, mine is nowhere near as bad as my alter Elizabeth's, but she is continually exhausted, and she performs consistent rituals within, so in the system and the inside and outside. It has gotten to the point where we have one problem. So let me give you an example of the worst it's ever been. I was downstairs and my sister went upstairs to bed. Now, I have to share a room with my sister because otherwise I might try and climb out of a window or leave the house or try and drive away. It gets very strange in the middle of the night for me because alters wake up and I'm not conscious of it. So she went upstairs, went to bed. She turned off all the lights and the TV was not on. This meant that my room was dark. Okay. As an adult in my 20s, I should be able to walk up into a room that is dark and get into bed and go to sleep. That should be something I can do. However, with my OCD, first and foremost, the issue was I have to turn on the light switches in my room so that they line up in a certain way. There are two different light fixtures in the room on opposite sides of the room. They have to all line up and they all have to be on. All the lights have to be on and all the light fixtures have to line up in a certain direction. Otherwise, I can't continue. I can't continue with my nighttime ritual. Upstairs, turn on all the lights. Couldn't do that because she was sleeping. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, I need to have the television on. It's a white noise. It causes a it soothes the inside, and it also causes me to hear other things. I constantly hear chatter anyway because of the altars. So for me, having a background noise that is something that I can physically look at and say that is causing noise is extremely helpful. But the TV was not on, which meant I had to turn on the TV to cause that noise, but it would have woken her up. That's problem number 2. So I could not wake her up in 2 situations, which is 1, I needed to turn on the light. 2, I needed to turn on the television. 3, after that, after I've turned on the lights, gotten them all in the correct order, then I've turned on the television, gotten it to the correct channel, turned on the TV show that needs to be on to the number 13 volume so that the sound is low enough that I can barely hear it, but high enough that I can understand that it's happening and understand the words that are coming out of the television. Then it is time to brush my teeth. Brushing my teeth involves walking into the room, turning on the faucet, walking out of the room, turning around, walking back into the room, taking the toothbrush, getting it wet, walking out of the room, coming back into the room. Because I'm checking. This is literally what I do, is I check that I'm never in danger. Walk back into the room, put toothpaste on the toothbrush, walk back into the room, brush my teeth while I'm standing there and brushing my teeth. Then I walk back into the bathroom and I brush my teeth in the bathroom to finish up, wash the toothbrush. Put the toothbrush back onto the sink, and then walk back into the other room, check the room again, come back, and then get a piece of floss. Floss my teeth, come back into the other room, floss my teeth in the other room. Then I have to walk back into the other room to rinse my mouth with Listerine, and then I have to rinse my mouth in the other room, walking back into that room, and then come back into the bathroom and spit. And then I have to turn the faucet off, and then I have to turn it back on again, turn it on to cold water. I have to walk back into the other room, get my water bottle, take my water bottle, I have to pick it up. If it doesn't feel right, literally it's a feeling, I have to put it back down and then pick it up until it feels correct. Then I have to walk back into the bathroom, fill the water up with cold water, turn the faucet off after I have put the top onto the water. Then I have to take the water bottle back into the bedroom, put it back down on the counter, and then I have to come back into the bathroom, wipe down the counter, and then I have to rinse my toothbrush a second time because I don't know why. It's something I've always done. And I don't know. And then I have to walk back into my bedroom, take my sheet, twist it back up so that it's at the corners to the other side, towards the wall, and then I have to change my clothes. Now, to change my clothes, that is a whole other conversation that involves many opinions on the inside, and that's exhausting in and of itself. So that's going to take another 15 minutes. So by the time I have actually crawled into bed, it has been 45 minutes to an hour of continual conversation on the inside, checking of system, checking of things being proper, checking of the communication, and all these other things. Now, due to the fact that I need to be able to do all of those things with the light on, the TV on, and with the communication that I understand who is in the bedroom at the time, regardless of the fact that I knew it was my sister, the fear of a person being in the room that I could not see due to the dark, and I see images of people in the dark because of my hallucinations, I had to sit downstairs on the floor. I had to sleep on the couch that night. I was unable to sleep in my own bed that night because I could not perform my rituals. That is OCD. That is a complete and total, unmistakably stressful situation for me, and that was just going to sleep. Mind you, my saying I slept on the couch that night does not actually mean I slept. What it means is I stayed downstairs the entire night and sat on the couch, unable to leave the couch because of the fear of the dark. Sat there with the television on. I don't even remember what was on, but I was up until I could see sunlight, and I could see enough sunlight that would allow me to walk upstairs to get into bed, but I still had to report all those rituals anyway. It was just awful. It was so awful. That is not the worst my OCD has ever been. That is just the most recent of problems. And I would let I'm going to be honest with you guys, I get really scared about the idea of letting my alters talk to you guys. Mostly because I'm just terrified. Uh, you guys have been so receptive and so wonderful and helpful to me that it is terrifying to think that I might lose some of you guys because my disorder, my mental illness has caused so many people within my life to leave that I'm just terrified. As far as OCD goes, coping mechanisms. Okay. So let's start with 3 things that are unhelpful to a person with OCD, and then 3 things that are helpful to a person with OCD. And these are things that a person can do from the outside, but you also need to do them for yourself on the inside. So, unhelpful things. Number 1, don't tell myself or others with OCD that it is normal to feel obsessive about a thought. You don't understand, unless you have obsessive compulsive disorder, what it's like to have a thought that is this obsessive. It is not the same thing as if you were to be really trying to figure out whether or not to take a promotion. That obsessive thought that keeps you up at night, that is not the same thing. That is not the same completely ridden anxiety that we feel. It doesn't feel the same to us, and it doesn't mean that you understand what we're going through. 2, don't use the words, "it's my OCD," to explain why you're cleaning. That is completely ignorant, rude, and unnecessary. And 3, do not ever tell a person with OCD that they're behaving strangely when they are behaving in a way that they need to behave to complete a ritual. It is obnoxious, it is rude, and it is completely it's unfair, and it's mean. It's just mean. Do not tell a person who is trying to conduct a positive thing in their life, whether or not it is an actual positive function. To them, it feels necessary. It is a safety. It is a coping mechanism. And it sucks for us so much sometimes. You telling us that it's weird does not make it suck any less. 3 things you can do for yourself and others outside of yourself can do for you. Number 1, talk to your family and talk to yourself about why you feel the need to do these things. Now, don't do it when you're in the middle of your ritual. That's not going to help you. Do it when you're not anxiety ridden. Take time for yourself to kind of sit and relax in a situation where you know you have full control, full capability of stopping yourself, and full just zen. So, for example, I will take a candle, a cup of tea, and a book, and I will sit on a chair. Now, once my butt hits that chair, I'm not moving until I have a reason to move, because I know in this chair I can control everything for the most part that happens to me. That is huge. It sounds stupid, but I know that in this chair I am in control, and that feels awesome. Find one place in your home that you feel controlled and less thought-provoked, like obsessions, and you feel as if it's yours. Find a space that feels controlled to you. Tell your family that that space is your control. Tell your family, that corner over there with the pillow on it, don't touch it. Don't move the pillow. Don't move the blanket. That is my corner. It is controlled. It is a controlled area. And hopefully they will understand and respect that, because if you have that controlled space, then you yourself can know when you go there, it's yours. You're in control, and you can calm yourself and bring yourself down to a level where you can kind of center yourself. Touch the blanket. Make sure you have items around you that feel concrete and centering and soothing. Don't put anything in that corner that stresses you out. For example, maybe don't bring your phone. Leave your phone in the other room. If you feel you need to have your phone, put it in front of you and turn it off. Turn it on silent. Do things that make it so that that moment, that space, that section of your life is quiet, controlled, and contained. Second, cut yourself, and everyone around you should cut you slack. Don't stress when you are running late. It sucks, and I had to learn this the hard way. I've spent years being 2 to 3 hours early everywhere. That was how I controlled things, is I would start my rituals 2 to 3 hours earlier than necessary, just in case. If you feel like you need to do something, don't feel bad when you do something, and do it in times that make it so you don't feel rushed. The less stressed and rushed you feel, the better and quicker the ritual will actually work and get through. The third thing is to go to therapy. Find a therapist, find somebody who knows specialties about OCD. You can go onto your local websites, find specialists in the field. They will help you with coping mechanisms and to feel better about things. You need to talk to somebody about this. You can't just rely on internet and books and things of that nature. Talk to people, understand yourself, and get to know the need and the original component that caused the stress. It could be a mental stimulation. It could be a problem with your chemistry. If that's the case, it's a medication. It's a conversation. You need to take care of yourself. Self-care is huge and primal coping. A few quick tips and tricks. I don't really know if they're gonna help you guys, but they're the most honest I can be. I can tell you from experience, OCD sucks, and it freaking pisses me off when I have really bad nights because my whole week is now destroyed and I can't leave the house. That is terrifying. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not a bad thing, but gosh darn, it sucks. As somebody who suffers from a disorder that has caused me to lose my job, lose friends, lose relationships, and cause quite a bit of stress in my own family, I can tell you right here, right now, that your family will be much more receptive and helpful if they see you doing the harder work. That sucks. And it's stupid. I will see you guys in my next video. And I hope that this did something for the person who requested it, because I've been thinking a long time about it and I really didn't know how to go about it. So this relaxed, easy, blabbery kind of option, that's all I got. I could definitely, I've asked Elizabeth how she copes, and the way she copes is she stays inside. She doesn't leave the safety of the room inside of her system, and I don't want you to be cooped up in a room. I don't want you to feel like you can't leave a space. There are days, but I don't ever want you to feel like you are stuck. You are strong. You can keep going. And this OCD does not define you. I will see you next time.